Thanks for clocking with your girl Lo, and today on my channel, we're going to talk about my ex's racist parents.
Meet me at my show, cause we living on the right side.
So, I don't want to give the ex like too long of the intro. I just want to make sure I get to the actual substance of the story time. So, we're going to call the ex John. And me and John met in high school, his sophomore year, my freshman year. And if I can explain John, and I'm saying this from not at all like a harsh or me being unforgiving, like coming from an unforgiving standpoint, but he like thought the world was out to get him. And I mean, he literally thought the whole world was out to get him. And anytime he like, if he brought issue among himself or someone else brought issue among him, his first response was, you hate me, I don't know what I have to bring to the world, I hate this, I hate that, that's stupid, this is pathetic. I loved him, I thought. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna fix him and it'll be all great. And I soon found out you cannot fix no one. And John showed me that. And our relationship was like this. If I could explain the imagery, John was like, this is how I can explain it. John would have a mirror in his hand, and let's say he dropped the mirror. Then I would come, put the mirror, try to fix the mirror as much as I can, give it back to John, and then John would throw the mirror right back in my face and make it break. That's like, and that's literally how I can explain our relationship. But like that's just a dynamic we had. So of course, our first year of us dating, it did not work out. We broke in the most dramatic, over top, most annoyingest way someone can break up. So our relationship did not work out. John did not make it. Unfortunately, he did not make it past 10th grade. I did. I made it. I graduated high school. And I, like anyone else, like with any other relationship or friendship you have in high school, like it, you know, it's going along in high school, but once high school ends, it just stops. And you guys you don't really know how to explain why it stopped. You guys just kind of stopped talking. So that was me and John. And just like all those relationships you want to let go, those memories you don't want to be connected with. This is way before the DM. And y'all, this was his speech. And mind you, I haven't talked to this guy for about almost 2 years now. And this is, I mean, it's not word from word, but this is the point. This is the key points he had to make. He was like, you know,
we worked out in high school, and you know that girl I was pregnant, the girl that cheated with you, if I did cheat on her with you, the girl that was pregnant, you remember? Well, it don't even matter. It doesn't even matter if I do this with her or not, if I had sex or not. I'm trying to be with you now. So we should try to figure this out now, because I think you'll make it really work, and you look beautiful as always. Let me know if you want to talk.
And of course.
So I was like, oh yeah, let's try to work things out. Like we can totally make this work again.
And yeah, so that's how me and John got linked back up. So, okay, so I remember one day I just got back from my job and I was home and John gives me a call and he was like,
hey, you know, like, you haven't met my parents. I would love for you to meet them. So can you come to our their house and can you meet them? And I'd love for you to have dinner with them. It'll be great, it'll be awesome, and I'd love be stoked to meet you.
I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. So I'll come up. And the place where I lived at, I was about 20 minutes away from John, but like we were divided by a highway. And in order to get to John's house, you had to go through like kind of like this, like the foot of this mountain range. And I did not know that until I hit the road. But anyway, and you know, John had this hobby. It was his favorite hobby, not giving gas money. John loved doing that. So yeah, so I went up a mountain range with no gas money and planning to meet parents I had no clue about. I met the mom like when we first met, like 2 years ago, just to kind of introduce myself, but never the dad. So I'm driving up this mountain range, and you guys, when I got to the house, this should have been the first red flag. This should have been the first red flag. I instantly knew John was a liar. And of course, being a fool in love back then, I did not take that red flag for what it was. But when I was on the phone with John, he was like, yeah, like their house is nice, it'll be awesome, like there'll be a pool in the back, we could walk up this creek. And in my mind, especially the homes in that mountain range, they were big, like they were really nice homes. And this is me not making fun of anyone living situation. I want to get that first out the way. This is me not mocking anyone's situation. But I just wish John didn't lie. Because in my head, I was thinking something. And when I got there, the living situation was very bad. It was just very bad. So, you know, I was like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm too good for someone just because where they live. I'm not going to do that. So I walked out my car. I walked through the gravel road. And y'all, this is when I should have noticed to go and make up some excuse I had to go. Right? Okay, so I walk up this gravel road, and it's John's dad. And right behind John's dad is this massive Confederate flag. I mean, this thing was massive. It was a huge Confederate flag. And he's cleaning his gun. John's dad's cleaning his gun. And I was just thinking, what I got myself into. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh no. Cause I don't know, like that is a statement. And I don't care. Okay, that's a statement. Okay, a statement. So, okay, let me calm down. So I walk up to the steps, and okay, so John's dad, y'all, okay, so I spoke first. I was like, hey, Mr. John, okay, and you guys, when I mean the look of disgust this guy gave me, he literally was like, and got right back to us cleaning his gun. So he didn't speak to me. He literally did not speak to me. And I'm like, okay, the time that I'm trying to practice what I learned growing up respecting elders, it of course does not work. So I was like, okay, you know what, forget it. So I walk up, I left John's dad to whatever he was doing, and I walk up these steps, I walk up a set of these other steps outside to get to the actual home, inside their home. And the moment I walked in the house, boom, I got hit with a white flog of cancer stick smoke. And at the end of that white flog was John's mom. And John's mom was sweet. I'm not gonna lie. When I first met her, she was like, it's so nice to meet you, darling. And we had amazing small talk. Like, she was prepping dinner for us. And it was good, her and her 5 to 10 cancer sticks, great conversation. The moment John's dad walked in the house, John stopped looking at me. He looked directly at the ground, and his whole demeanor shifted. And he just instantly looked at the ground. And the wife got more quiet. And eventually, the longer I was with John, I found out, yeah, I was still with him, y'all, after this story time, whatever. And the longer I got to know John's dad and just their whole family as a whole, I eventually understood why they all acted the way they did as time went on. But anyway, okay, rewind me. So John's dad walks in the place, and y'all, okay, let me remind y'all something. This guy does not know my name. He does not know where I work, if I go to school, if I have siblings, none of that. He didn't even know if me and John were officially boyfriend and girlfriend. It were just really good friends. As far as I know, he didn't know any of this. And this was his icebreaker, y'all. Not my name. Oh, where are you from? This is his icebreaker. What's your thoughts on the Confederate flag? What's your thoughts? And I was like, I got because I knew where he was going, because I remember the flag, and I knew where he was going. He was like, what are your thoughts on the Confederate flag? And I was like, you're talking to me, sir? And he was like, yeah, what are your thoughts? I want to know your thoughts. And you guys, and this is not even me hyping it for this video. This is not me hyping this guy's energy. He was really that hostile and that off the bullet on what he was asking me. That quick. He was like, yeah, what are your thoughts on it? And during this time, I know there's so many of them, but specifically during this time, there was a really horrific church shooting in the South. And a crime was committed by a white young man who obviously supported the Confederate flag, the white power, and he fully supported that. The young man who committed this awful crime at the church. And honestly, you guys, I'm really embarrassed to say this, but during this time, I was really not educating myself or just learning about current events. Of course, the shooting that happened in the act was horrendous, and was awful, and just awful that it happened. But when it came to the actual debate of if the Confederate flag should still be around, because during this time, in the state I'm from, they wanted to get rid of the flag. like the Confederate flag with everything in stores, anything associated with it, they wanted to get rid of it. So it, like, when it came to the debate if the flag should go or should stay, I did not know enough about that debate, about that specifically. What happened at the church, completely wrong, and I don't even want to get, I'm not gonna, that's for a different video. But anyway, so the debate, that was a debate going on, I think also nationally, but specifically, that was just me right now in that moment state I was at, and that was the debate that was going on. And the dad full on asked me, you guys, I had nothing to really say. I was just like, well, you know, I can understand why people would want the flag, because they want the flag to stay because it can represent Southern pride. You know, they're proud to be from the southern states of the country. And that's kind of the only reason I could come up with why someone would want it at the time, because that's kind of all I could, that was my perception of why people wanted the flag to stay. And then I told him I could understand why some people want to get rid of it, because for a lot of people that flag represents hate, racism. It triggers a lot of pain and heartbreak for a lot of people. And I can understand why people want to get rid of that flag. You guys, before I can even like finish that last of my sentence, he was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Because someone like you would think that way. Someone like you would think that way. And you guys, he wasn't giving me eye contact. He was literally like this. Someone like you would think that way. And I was just like, okay. And mind you guys, I'm like only 17 when this happened. 17. And I was like, okay. And then you guys, he didn't even give me a second to even like have a good like, you know, like, oh, why do you think that I'm wrong? Like, he didn't give me no time to even do that. There was no breathing room for that. And he instantly went to the second question. He was like, what's your thought on slavery? Because I want you to, and he was like stuttering this much because he was just so, like, he was getting frustrated with me. He was getting hostile with me. And he was like, I just want to let you know that every single lie they told you about slavery was not true at that school you went to. Yeah, because you graduated from high school, right? And I was like, yes. He was like, yeah, that's all a lie. That's all a lie. You want to know why Civil War started? Because the southern states were mad at the North for not giving the justice they deserved to live the way they wanted to. Yeah, that's what his reason was. He was like, the South fought with the North because the South got upset that the North did not allow them to live the way they wanted to live. It had nothing to do with slavery, nothing to do with cotton, it had nothing to do with that. And them Jim Crow laws, that whole idea that it was designed to divide America, that's a lie too. That's a freaking lie. Well, I mean, he obviously said, but he was like, that's a lie. And I was literally like, and this part of our conversation, I know I was not confident. I know for a fact I wasn't. But I was literally like, so sir, you're telling me slavery, which was the laborers in the South that were harvesting the cotton and majority of the cash crops in the South that kept the South breathing, because literally slavery determined their whole culture in the South. It was a part of their social, their political, their economic, even their like judge system. You told me this, it had like, slavery had nothing to do with that, and that had nothing to do with Civil War. And he was like, no. Oh, so the Jim Crow laws didn't divide America. No. I don't know what you're talking about. No. And like, y'all, like when he said that, I had such an eeriness in my spine. He said it with so much spite. And he was like that cold about it. He was like, no. I want to let you know that you're fooling yourself if you think that way. And I remember just like almost like, I know I'm probably getting teary-eyed now, but I remember like getting so teary-eyed because I was just stuck. Because I was like, even though I was 17, I was like, dang, I'm letting this man who obviously is communicating to me that he has a problem with me, a problem with my history, and has a lot of theories that really don't make sense. He's trying to explain to me about my own race, about my own struggles, my own ancestry, and he's leaving me like scared and mute. And I think that was what's freaking me out the most at that moment. Like, I was stuck. Physically, like, I don't know, you're ever in a situation where you like are physically you cannot speak, and like that was the situation because I did not know. I was at home. I did not know. I was with people I did not know, and I'm getting approached with discussions that are talking about my race, my ancestry, the hatred that has taken place in America, and a very hot debate at the time that involved innocent lives getting taken for a hateful cause. And this is what I'm getting. And this is this idea of an icebreaker. You suck at icebreakers. This is not how you start a conversation with somebody. This is his idea of getting to know me. So what, ripping through me? No. And like and just discrediting everything that my race everything that causes issues now in America. This guy was literally trying to discredit them as if they did not exist. And I remember just being so mute and so quiet. And just saying, okay. And like, I don't know, I was such a fool because I literally thought like, this is why I can't. This is why it's good to educate yourself, because I literally was depending on John to have my back. And I remember John just looking down at the freaking dust particles and counting sun rays, and he just kept looking down. The mom did nothing. She completely went mute. Like the moment the dad walked in, she was checked out the whole conversation, it seemed like. And she was like in her own world. It was kind of like John's dad just had free will to do whatever he wanted. He literally did, because he was just ripping. And the more he kept talking about, yeah, the Jim Crows are a lie, and they're dividing. And what they teach you in school, the little history books, they're all a lie. And he was getting this hype with me. He was like, yeah, and I hope no one in your family taught you that, because that's a lie too. And I just remember thinking, and I was like, I remember saying, like, well, I don't agree with you. And I think it's time for me to go. Because y'all, like, even though like those are deep conversations that you like, it is good to speak up for things like that. At that moment, I was just kind of getting scared for my safety, because John's dad, like, first of all, and I'm not saying nothing against Second Amendment with the guns and all that. I'm not saying that, y'all. But like, there was I remember there being guns like everywhere, and like he was cleaning a gun the moment I walked into the place, and then the more we're talking, the more he was leading the conversation, because I was just trying to get out the conversation. The more he kept leading it, y'all, like, I was here, and John's dad was just like, he kept going and going and going and going. Like, he just kept getting more, like, fired up, and I was ready to go, because now I felt like my safety was getting put at risk. So I was like, hey, Mr. John, like, thank you for dinner, and thank you, Miss John, like, I think it's time for me to go. Me and John are planning to go see movie date. We're planning to have a movie date anyway. And y'all, and this is what I should have taken it for what it was, but this is how I knew that there was going to be so much more ignorance. Is that how you say that word? So much more that I was going to deal with, and so much of making me extremely uncomfortable. John's mom, this is all this woman had to say, was like, oh, thanks, Donna, for coming. Like, I hope to see you soon. And John's dad got up, and he was like, this was a very educational conversation. I hope to see you soon, so we can have a deeper discussion. As if what he was saying was right or polite. I couldn't believe this guy. Like, that was literally his approach. Everything he just did to me, I was on the verge of crying. It was extremely awkward, extremely dead quiet. Like, he had the audacity to say that, like, oh yeah, I thank you for this conversation, and I hope to see you again. As if he spit facts to me, as if he educated me. And I don't remember myself even responding. I was like, and me and John got to the car, and I remember asking John, like, is your family racist? And of course, John,
no, like, that's just a way of, having a conversation. That's just a way of, getting to know someone.
And I was like, so they're having a conversation with everyone, even people who aren't black? Like, they're hitting people who are non-black with the Jim Crow laws and slavery, segregation, and the Confederate flag? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. What was I literally doing? So, me and John, we were heading to the movies, and that just shows, and the fact that we were like, okay, let's head to the movies. After a conversation like that with his dad, and the fact that we were just like okay, let's just go to the movies. That just shows like the kind of relationship, like how really immature it really was. Cause after that, you gotta be after a conversation like that, after that kind of happening, even if you weren't bold enough to say something during it, I feel like you should at least be talking about it after it. At least something. Give me something, John. There was nothing. He had nothing to say. So, and you know what, and even though it was in a very unhealthy way on how it got brought up, it's sad to say, John's dad, like, he really did show us that I'm black, John is white, and not everyone's going to approve of that. Not everyone's going to be for that relationship. And the opinions you value the most, the validation you seek the most, who you want to be with your relationship and for relationship, the people who turn out not to be that and who you don't get those things out of, sometimes you're going to end up being the people you call family. And John's dad showed us that. And it was just sad because I don't think either one of us was willing to really get deep in that relationship. And I don't even know if it's anything to do with our age. I think it had a lot to do with fear. And like, as sad as it's not, I mean, it's sad too, but it's factual that like John's dad, he legitimately planted that seed of racism, and it really sucked the life out of our relationship. Like, if our relationship was a garden, that seed of racism started that day. And that seed of being planted and no one talking about it, about, you know, race and segregation. And we had to talk about these things. We got to talk about our mindset on different things, our perspective. And me seeing America through my black woman eyes and you seeing America through your white man eyes, that needs to be up for discussion. And no one was willing to talk about it. Number one, do not compromise. And I do not mean like, oh, you know, work on being on time, or work on cleaning the dishes, or taking out the trash, or, you know, filling gas money up, which you need to be doing. Don't pull a John. Don't pull a John. But anyway, and, you know, I think just don't compromise. And what I mean by that, the things that make you you, like your true core, like I'm talking about things you cannot change, your race, or, you know, those things you hold valuable, like family and the faith and, you know, the religion you practice. If you have those things that truly, truly make you you, if you have to put those things back, set those things aside and sacrifice yourself just for someone to love you, it's time to check. And I'm talking about if there's already discussion being made about like, hey, I feel like for you to love me, I have to put these parts away. I have to tuck these parts of me away. And if someone's not willing for change or for that open conversation, have empathy with you and understanding with you, then it might be time to check out. Because I should have done that with John. But instead, I got more and more insecure about myself. And then, you know, honestly too, I mean, just being a woman and being just for anybody, but when you're from honestly, being a black woman, keep it real. It is hard when you're in a racial relationship and then you're the woman and then you have a boyfriend who you know is coming from a family of discrimination and racism, and then you kind of are starting to see parts of that type of belief and way of thinking in someone that you're trying to love, and you know that family's hate is targeted towards someone who looks like you, yeah, your insecurity is going to just keep declining and declining and declining and declining. Yeah, no, your insecurity is going to keep increasing and your confidence is going to keep declining. And that's what it ended up being. I just feel like if maybe I was more educated and more bold and more confident and more fearless, that maybe I could have been a part of cutting the ties of racist generational teaching in his family. And I don't know if they still think that way. I would not, honestly, I would be shocked if they stopped thinking that way. But I can't help but think maybe if I would have said that, maybe if I would have done that, then maybe things would turn out different. But I feel with education, those maybes will become I did. And those shouldas would have been like, I did it. Those shoulda and those maybes will become action with education. because I truly do believe with education and power go hand in hand. And you have to make people uncomfortable to see change. And when you educate yourself up, when you educate yourself more up here, that makes you bolder in here, where you're able to make people uncomfortable in order to make a change because you want to see a difference. And I should have done that. But now, as you know, and as I'm moving forward, I'm educating myself more about so much different things, but specifically about things that make me me. The good, the hardships like slavery and segregation, and the beautiful things that come with it, the art, the culture, the family, the love, the accomplishments, the strength that comes with my race. And just the beauty of the human race. I will keep striving to make myself better, to make the world better. So, thank you so much, you guys. If you do enjoy this video, I would love you guys to let me talk back. If you do love this video, please subscribe, like, comment. If you love to share it, please share. I did not cry, so that's a bonus because I'm a crier. And yeah, so love you guys so much. It's time to clock out with Lo, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Reminding myself.
Meet me at my show, 'cause